Why does that scene feel scarier than most horror movies? Because it's not just a scene. It's one of the greatest antagonists in cinema history, hidden inside a kids' movie. And yes, everything about Puss in Boots 2 is excellent. The art style, the characters, and the humor. But let's be honest, when you think about this movie, you think about him. But then, what makes the wolf such an incredible antagonist? How does he leave such a massive impact with so little screen time? And above all, is he the greatest villain in animation? That's exactly what you're about to see, and there are far more reasons than you think. Let's start at the very beginning, literally the character's first scene, which also happens to be the best in the entire movie. But to understand why his introduction is so brilliant, you first need some context. Puss just found out he's down to his very last life. But despite the doctor's warnings, he flat out refuses to retire, when suddenly, the first thing we notice is how deeply intimidating the wolf is. It's his sudden appearance, his whistle, his pitch-black cloak, those blood-red eyes, and his massive size compared to Puss. And of course, his voice.
Sign right there.
Just from his tone, you can sense he wants to tear Puss apart. But what makes him even more terrifying is his mocking laugh, which shows just how confident he is. The legendary Puss in Boots doesn't intimidate him at all, while Puss himself is left with his tail between his legs. But just being intimidating isn't enough to make a great antagonist. Just look at Mordu from Brave, or Tamatoa from Moana. Intimidating, sure, but nothing more than that. So what else does a great antagonist need? Well, they need to be a real, tangible threat to the protagonist, unlike, say, Kylo Ren in Star Wars. But at first glance, the wolf doesn't have this problem.
Fear me if you dare me.
When Puss thinks he's just up against a regular bounty hunter, he attacks. But the wolf effortlessly dodges and parries his strikes, holding back and choosing not to counterattack until this exact shot.
You're not living up to the legend, Gato.
With that, the atmosphere shifts completely. The heroic music turns into pure horror, and Puss is being utterly dominated. We even see something incredibly rare for a DreamWorks movie: blood. Puss bleeds, and seeing his own blood marks a crucial turning point for him. He realizes he can actually die, and for the first time, he begins to fear death. Out of nowhere, Puss stops playing the hero and runs for his life, leaving his sword and his pride behind. In a single 3-minute scene, we get an antagonist who is charismatic, terrifying, and above all, a genuine threat to our hero. A threat so severe that it forces Puss in Boots to retire immediately, until he learns he can wish for his lives back, so he never has to fear death again. And the wolf, like any great antagonist, will be stalking him from the shadows. But to understand how he stalks Puss so effectively, we first have to look at how he's built and what makes him so chilling in every single scene. Because his design seems simple, a large wolf, black clothes, and red eyes. But that simplicity has layers, and every single layer serves a purpose. Let's start with the most important question. Why is Death a wolf? You might think it's because he's the natural foil to a cat, or that he's inspired by Anubis, the Egyptian god of death. But in reality, Death is a wolf, because wolves are endurance hunters. They don't kill with a single blow. Instead, they stalk their prey for hours, even days, until the target is too exhausted to run. And that's exactly what Death does. It pursues you forever, and nobody escapes it. But beyond his visual design, there's something that makes him even more special: his sound design, his leitmotif. Where Darth Vader has his breathing, the wolf has his whistle. And it's not just a random sound, it's how he communicates. Serving as a haunting warning throughout the film, you don't even need to see him to know he's there. And that's exactly what an endurance hunter does, stalking its prey from the shadows, amplifying Puss's terror, letting him know that death is closing in. And as the cherry on top, we have his voice.
You are no bounty hunter. You are death.
Most villains sound menacing simply by having a deep voice, but not the wolf. In his voice, all you hear is amusement, a twisted pleasure in striking fear into his prey, and that makes him even more terrifying. Because a villain who genuinely enjoys what he does doesn't need to justify himself. He isn't angry, he's just having fun, completely shattering the typical villain archetype. All of that, his design, his whistle, and his voice, gives the wolf one crucial thing: presence. Presence in every single scene. And that's another thing that makes him so incredible, all of his appearances. Because every time the wolf shows up, it matters immensely, even if it's only for a few seconds. But what's the secret?
Don't tell.
Or rather, how did the writers pull it off? First, there's the element of surprise. The wolf always appears when you least expect it, reinforcing that constant sense of danger. It leaves us with the impression that even when he's not on screen, the wolf is still there, lurking in the shadows, ready to laugh and strike. But it's not just an impression, the wolf really is there. Then there's his whistle. A brilliant way to capture the audience's attention, prepping them for what's about to happen before the wolf even steps into frame. But there's something even more terrifying about his whistle. Every time we hear it, many of us get goosebumps, just like Puss. Not because a whistle is inherently scary, but because it's a cold reminder that we are all mortal. It taps into the fear of death, a universal fear that makes us feel completely helpless, just like Puss. That's why it hits so hard. And finally, the most important aspect of his appearances is the profound impact he has on Puss. It's not just that Puss is afraid, it's that something deep inside his core feels threatened. And that is far more powerful than simple fear, and above all, far more interesting. By the middle of the movie, after crossing paths with the wolf again, Puss suffers a full-blown panic attack. It's easily one of the best scenes in the film, because it's so rare to see a heroic character like Puss look this vulnerable, especially in an animated movie meant for kids. But what makes his panic attack so fascinating is how Puss processes his fear.
It's okay to be afraid.
No, not for Puss in Boots.
Puss struggles to understand what's happening to him because he has never felt fear in his entire life. It's completely foreign to him. At the start of the story, we see this clearly, with Puss bragging that he fears nothing and literally laughing in the face of danger. Being a fearless legend is his entire identity. He says it himself.
I'm supposed to be a fearless hero, a legend.
But ever since he met the wolf, Puss has come to know true terror, even when death isn't physically there. This creates a massive fracture between what he's feeling and the image he has of himself. It means that as long as he's terrified, he's no longer the legendary Puss in Boots. He's just a cat, but he refuses to give up.
Or Puss in Boots?
Not yet, but I will be.
And that's exactly why he wants the wishing star so badly. Not because he wants to stop fearing death, but because he desperately wants to go back to being who he was.
Without lives to spare, I am nothing.
So, in case you missed it, the wolf didn't just terrify Puss, he literally shattered his identity. And that's another reason why he's such a flawless antagonist. He is deeply relevant to the protagonist. A great antagonist must push the hero to their absolute limit, not just physically, but psychologically and morally. Because of this, an antagonist should always be built directly from the protagonist's personality to create the ultimate contrast. For example, the Joker works perfectly against Batman because he pushes him to the edge of breaking his no-kill rule. But if you put the Joker against Deadpool, it wouldn't work nearly as well, because Deadpool doesn't exactly have a strict moral code to break. In the exact same way, the wolf wouldn't work as well against a protagonist who was already full of anxieties, because death wouldn't scare them the same way. But against Puss, a hero whose entire identity is rooted in being utterly fearless, the wolf works flawlessly. He forces him into a state of raw vulnerability and self-doubt, something Puss has never experienced before.
But I am not Puss in Boots. And
just like that, the wolf broke Puss completely. But that's still not the most interesting part, because there's something else that elevates him even further, something that might truly make him the greatest antagonist in animation. Can you guess what it is? Let's see if you can figure it out. John Truby once wrote that two individuals opposing each other isn't enough to create great drama. What truly creates it is a deep clash between their core values and ideas. Did you guess what I was referring to? Well, I think it's pretty obvious. The wolf is an incredible antagonist because of his ideological conflict with Puss, a conflict over the true value of life. Puss is introduced as a fearless hero, one who loves being adored and loves being a legend. And to maintain that legend, Puss cannot fear death, and as a result, he has zero respect for it. But that lack of respect is so extreme that he straight up devalues his own lives.
Who's the guy who rolls the dice and gambles with his life?
In fact, Puss lost his first 8 lives for incredibly stupid, completely avoidable reasons. That happened because he simply doesn't respect danger, nor does he respect death, treating his lives as if they were worth nothing. This means he doesn't want to get his lives back because he actually treasures them. He just wants them so he can stop fearing death and go back to being a legend, the Puss in Boots.
Without them, I am not.
What? The legend?
But Puss valuing his lives so little deeply offends our friend the wolf. Because, spoiler alert, the wolf isn't just some random bounty hunter, he is death itself.
I'm death. Straight up.
And if he's hunting Puss, it's not just because he finds the concept of cats having 9 lives absurd. It's because Puss in Boots didn't value a single one of them.
And you didn't value any of them.
The idea of death being the one who treasures the value of life is not only incredibly original, but it also means that in this clash of values, the wolf is actually the one who's right. Because we all agree with him, don't we? Life is priceless and shouldn't be thrown away, especially not for stupid reasons.
What?
In this movie, unlike so many others made for general audiences, it's not the hero who holds the correct moral values, it's the antagonist. And the best part is how it's presented. The wolf isn't trying to teach Puss a lesson. No, he's simply having fun hunting him down, chasing the very last life of this arrogant little cat. But as the audience, we get it. Even if we don't like it, the wolf is right, and Puss has been incredibly foolish up until now. And that's why, for the story to reach a positive resolution, Puss has to evolve throughout the film, learning to truly value life. Through his journey with Kitty and Perrito, Puss learns the importance of being surrounded by the people you love, realizing that being a lonely legend isn't nearly as great as he thought. And it's Perrito who gives him that final push.
Maybe one life is enough?
In his final confrontation with death, Puss faces the ultimate dilemma of the movie. Does he wish for his lives back, or does he finally stand his ground and face death?
Pick it up. Lives flashing before your eyes.
And Puss chooses to face death, validating his entire character growth and proving he finally understands the value of life. One life is enough, and he will fight with everything he has to keep it.
This is gonna be fun.
Puss is still doomed anyway. He can't defeat the wolf, who is literally death itself, so death kills him. But seriously, when the wolf notices that Puss has changed and that he finally values his life, he no longer has a reason to kill him. He lets him go, giving us a highly compelling and incredibly original conclusion. The two of them finally share the exact same values regarding life, and now there is mutual respect. In his final words, the wolf perfectly encapsulates the entire message of the movie.
Live your life, Puss in Boots. Live it well.
You know we will meet again.
Right?
Live your life well, knowing that you will die. Or better yet, let's live well precisely because we are going to die. That is the true theme of the film. And that's why the wolf is such a phenomenal antagonist. Not just for everything I mentioned before, but because he forces the protagonist, and us, the audience, to confront our own mortality, teaching us to place a far greater value on our lives. In other words, the wolf isn't just completely badass. He actually teaches us something profound. And he does all of that with less than 10 minutes of screen time in a 90-minute movie. Not bad at all. But that brings us to the ultimate question. Is the wolf the greatest antagonist in animation history? Well, based on how mad he gets at the end, yes. yes.
¿Por qué diablos fui a jugar con mi comida?
No, but seriously, that question doesn't have a single answer because it's up to each of us to decide. But for me, The Wolf is without a doubt the absolute best part of a movie that already has so many excellent elements, elevating its value to a whole new level.